A lot of big news this week in the lieutenant governor's race. A lot of changes, including involving a couple of Northwest Arkansas lawmakers who we have with us today. Just to sort of recap real quickly, Congressman Tim Griffin has entered the lieutenant governor's race. Not saying all this is connected, but it may or may not be, and you guys can respond to that. Meanwhile, Representative Debra Hobbs of Rogers, a Republican from Rogers, was running for governor, now is this week announced she's running for lieutenant governor. Charlie Collins, Republican from Fayetteville, was running for lieutenant governor, now running for re-election to his House seat. That leaves Tim Griffin, Debra Hobbs, and Andy Mayberry as the candidates on the Republican side for lieutenant governor, possibly foreshadowing a runoff. And then on the Democratic side so far, John Burkhalter. Let's talk a little bit about this, all these maneuverings this week and why they happened. Let's start first with you, Representative Hobbs. You were a candidate for governor, now have decided to run for lieutenant governor. Why?
Right. That's a good question, something that I want to answer to people. I threw my hat in the ring as a candidate for governor because having served in the State House the last few years, I have seen enough and learned enough to know that government can serve Arkansans better than what we're doing. I've seen a lot of inefficiencies, and I felt like someone needed to stand up to address that.
Couldn't you do that as governor?
So I could, and that's the reason I looked at governor. Someone early on suggested to me maybe lieutenant governor, in fact, more than one person. And at the time, I felt like a lot of people, lieutenant governor is a do-nothing position. It's a title. I didn't run for governor for a title or for a position. I ran for it to make a difference in the lives of Arkansans. Last week, it dawned on me, you know what, I can affect change. I can take the lieutenant governor's office and focus on some of the things I want to focus on. And so that's what I'm going to do, because as you know, as governor, there are so many issues. You're spread so thinly, it would be difficult to focus on the 3 issues I want to focus on. I can take lieutenant governor's job, do that, and be effective and serve the people of Arkansas.
Let me ask Representative Collins, given what she just saying about the role of lieutenant governor, you at one point have wanted to serve in that role. Now you've decided to run for a re-election to your House seat. Candy Clark, quorum court member, is running on the Democratic side. Why drop out of the lieutenant governor's race to run for re-election?
Yeah, Larry, my 2 good friends and colleagues, Debbie and also Andy, would be outstanding lieutenant governors. But the reality is, in my view, with a sitting congressman entering the race, you've essentially got somebody with incredible name recognition and access to resources, and frankly, he becomes a crystal clear favorite to win the GOP primary and also, importantly, the general election, and that's good for Republicans. So my friends are...
You're saying that with one of your colleagues from
I understand that, but if I thought that a state representative could win this race, I would have stayed in the race myself. But because I don't believe that that's realistic, and that Tim Griffin, as a sitting congressman, is a crystal clear favorite, that's the reason that I've left the race and am running for re-election, and will do a lot, in my view, to continue turning Arkansas into a good jobs magnet, reducing the income tax and other things from my state representative seat.
Representative Hobbs, you just heard your colleague in the State House saying he doesn't think a representative can win it, a state rep can win it, that this congressman has the upper hand. What do you think?
Well, I think what he said is, as far as the resources, it makes a difference. I was speaking at a Republican women's group in Pulaski County yesterday. Before I spoke, Congressman Griffin was there. And as he left, they thanked him for the $1,000 donation to their club. I'm very concerned about
So
the
you're
influence.
saying basically he's going to try to buy it?
Well, what I'm saying is I am entering this race because the everyday Arkansan needs to be represented in Arkansas.
Do you anticipate putting some of your own money into it to counter that?
I already have. I also don't believe I need $3 million to run, but I am concerned about the influence of money on legislators with their votes. I'm concerned about the influence of money in our campaigns because, you know, this isn't about Washington. This is about Arkansas and representing everyday Arkansans, and that's what I want to do.
Do you need a lieutenant governor's office? You brought it up. Congressman Griffin said, look, I don't want to be in Congress. I want to spend more time with my kids. Essentially, that's what he said. So now he's running for lieutenant governor. Does that mean that you don't have enough to do? You can spend time with your kids? Do we need an office of lieutenant governor?
I believe the office of lieutenant governor provides one essential function, and that is for the people of Arkansas to elect somebody and that person will fill in for the governor should something terrible happen to a governor now or in the future. And while we hope that never happens, in the past, we have needed the lieutenant governor office to do that very thing.
What do you think, Representative? You need the office?
Well, you know, I've joined the voices of others saying that we should abolish it, but the truth of the matter is that whoever is in there can do like former Lieutenant Governor Win Rockefeller and make it into a real job to serve the people, and that's what I will do as Lieutenant Governor of Arkansas.
I want to thank Representative Collins and Representative Hobbs for joining me today. A lot of shakeups in Lieutenant Governor's race. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more. Thanks for being with us.